So, can you give us a sneak peek into your upcoming book for pre-retirees, and what can the listeners and viewers look forward to?
Sure. So, really what I've tried to design is a roadmap and a reference, and really whether it's Social Security, when to take Social Security, or when do you take Medicare, or even talking about legacy planning, talking about a family meeting, just doing different things that you might not think about. What I've done is incorporated stories, which I think are helpful, just talking about how you how you walk through the process of whether it's taking Social Security, whether it's having a family meeting, where it can be productive with your family, talking about what is going to be your legacy or estate planning. What are you looking to try to accomplish there? There's a chapter about financial jargon because the finances can be very confusing, just to kind of talk through. And then there's several other chapters about budgeting, managing debt. I always say it's everyone is a little different spot with debt. It's important to understand what you have and take inventory of it and come up with a plan to kind of work through that. And so really my hope with the book is really that for someone to go through it, put together a plan with it, but at the same time not stick it to the side or throw it out, is really to use as a reference as they go through retirement, whether it's with a legacy estate planning, whether it's healthcare, these different things that come up. The book can be used as a reference, and I have QR codes built in so that there's calculators in there where you can go if you're with savings, debt, budgeting. There's QR codes where they'll take you to different calculators that'll help you figure out where you stand.
So, where can uh, people listening to this podcast or watching it learn more about your work, your books, and Balanced Wealth Partners, your
Yes.
company?
So you can go to my website, Balance Wealth Partners, which is a business site. I also have a site, jeffreypanik.com, that has the book information on it. The book's available on Amazon. My first book is as well. I can also give your subscribers my first book, a free book, where they can sign up and get the first book for free as a PDF. And I can send you the link for that after this. And that's mainly for young adults, mainly viewers, more than likely their children, grandchildren. But I think, the more that they know, the more that you can empower them. It'll go a long way to help get your children and grandchildren where they need to be.
I have a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, and they didn't learn any of that in school. We've tried to teach them along the way, but even when you're trying to teach them, they still need a little bit further guidance because they don't fully understand. Like my son doesn't have a job right now. He's in second year of college, and my wife told me he's kind of eyeing this guitar that's like $400 or something like that. And she's like, "Really? Yeah, do you want to? You have the money for that? Can't you spend that money elsewhere or save it for school or something else?" And so we'll put all those links in the description notes so that people can have access to all that. And I think that's a pretty good deal that, you buy one book, get one free. So take advantage of that and, take the first smart step towards financial planning. Is there anything we didn't get the opportunity to talk about that you wanted to make sure that our viewers and listeners hear?
I don't think so. I just think, like I said, I think the most important thing is to realize that you can't, whatever situation is, and sometimes the people that worry more have less to worry about because, they've done the right things, but you just can't expect to figure this all out overnight or over a weekend. Really what you want to have is really a plan, a roadmap for about a year where you work through all these things, and you can do it where you just don't just rush through it, because typically if you rush through and you just check the box, that's really where you're going to find and get yourself in trouble, where you're trying to figure out, you spend a lot more time trying to figure it out, how to get out of it, in other words.